This video introduces Topic 9's Control API and its files. The API's control function.php file. First, a reminder about the curl class. This is the same as used in Topic 8's control. In this activity, the user needs to log in, but other user actions are not required, so have been left out. As previously, the control needs to know the location of the model. This means it needs its URL. Go to the Models Test API page and copy the URL. Return to the control functions file and paste it into the getModel_URL function. Scroll down the page, you will see that 3 new function stubs have been added already. The complete is getStatistics. The getModel_URL and runCurl line send the received request to the Models API. The code to be added is to handle failed requests for data that is not yet on its database, so a request for data from the crime site is needed. The code to be added is to handle failed requests for data that is not yet on its database. Start by adding a line to investigate the reply. Convert the JSON into an array with JSON decode. Use an if statement to check for a reply reason. A failed search returns the phrase, "not found on the database." If the statement is true, then an attempt must be made to get the data from the Crime Statistics API. This means a call to the Add New Statistics function, currently on line 53, is to be created. This needs data such as user ID, place name, etc. that are inside the request details argument. Therefore, the JSON encoded argument needs to be decoded into an array. Type or copy the request details argument's name into the script as shown. Add the call to the Add New Statistics function where its result will be stored in the reply variable. Now you will use the data from the request details array to complete the arguments. Take a copy of the array's name to avoid typing errors. Paste it inside the function. Then point it to the user ID. Don't forget to add the comma. Make a copy of this argument to avoid errors. Paste in the copied line. Change user ID to place name. Again, paste in the copied line. Change user ID to longitude. Again, paste in the copied line. Change user ID to latitude. Again, paste in the copied line. Change user ID to target month. Finally, paste in the copied line. Change user ID to target year, and remove the trailing comma as this is the last argument the function requires. Close the function calls line with a semicolon. The reply should now be checked, as a successful addition of crime data to the model returns true. If it is successful, then call the getStatistics function with the original request details data. Calling the addNewStatistics function means the crime statistics will be stored on the model's database. Therefore, the process can call itself with the same JSON data in order to receive the statistics and send them to the calling process. Add a line to return a call to the getStatistics function. As this function call is entered already above on line 42, highlight and copy the line. Paste it as shown. Close the line with a semicolon. Now add script that returns the crime statistics if the data is found on the model's database. This will be an else statement to the if reply array reason returns false. Enter, reply, and close the line with a semicolon. This completes the getStatistics function script. Now the addNewStatistics function needs to be scripted. It is used when the requested statistics are not found on the model's database. The function needs to use the user ID, place name, longitude, latitude, month, and year, so these are its arguments. Note they are the arguments sent to it by the getStatistics function. The script will need to send data to the model, so it needs to get its URL. To do this, copy line 44 above. Then paste it into the function. The function getCrimeData will be used to contact the police API to get statistics for the given location. The next line, therefore, will be a call to this function. The result will be stored in the incidents variable. And the arguments passed to the function are those it received from the getStatistics function. So type, or as shown, copy and paste the variables into the function call. End the line with a semicolon. Next, the incident reply needs to be converted into an array. This involves decoding the JSON encoded incidents. True is added here to ensure the data is correctly converted. The incidents need to be combined with the search data for storage on the model's database. Therefore, an array containing the data, user ID, place name, etc. must be added. The API action call is to add new statistics. Next is the user ID. Then, the place name. Followed by the target month. And lastly, the target year. The two arrays should now be merged into a 2D array. The first array to be added is the one containing the request details. This is followed by the incidents array. The 2D array needs to be encoded into JSON, ready for posting to the model's API. Don't forget copy and paste can be used to avoid typing errors. The API request can now be sent using curl post. The reply from the model's API can then be returned to the calling process. The Add New Statistics function is now complete. The getCrimes function calls the crime statistics API and returns the JSON results. Firstly, the data, years, and month needs to be set as a string. Note that they are joined by a hyphen or dash. Now the date has been created, the URL to the police data is added. Enter the URL variable as shown. Then from the guide, copy the URL. Return to the function and paste in the URL. A call to curl post is required to extract the data. Note that there is no JSON to send, as this is a GET API service. The replied JSON list of crimes is now returned to the calling process. This completes the getCrimesData function. The controls API is a simple one of two endpoints. The user administration endpoints have been removed. Endpoint 1 is the login. Endpoint 2 is getStatistics. This simply relays any requests to the functions that you have implemented. The process for getting the crime statistics requires work on the control. It starts with a getStatistics request. Then the model API is asked for the statistics. If there are statistics stored, then they are returned and passed to the calling function. If there is no stored data for this request, then the addNewStatistics function is called. This calls the getCrimeData function, which will return the crime data via the getRequest. The returned crime data is added to local data and sent to the model for storage. When that is complete, the getStatistics function is called again. This time data is on the model, so it will be returned to the calling function. To test, select the Check the Statistics menu option. You should see the controls URL for later use. The page, in Test 2, makes a request for existing data from Lincoln and presents it in Test 3. Test 4 requests data that is not on the model, so tests that part of the process. Note, once run, the data will be on the model for Test 4. To test it again, reset the model's data. This activity is complete.